Hi, I'm Jane, and we are visiting one of our students who's just completed an access course. Um, so, Haylie, I'll let you introduce yourself.
I'm Haylie, and I've just completed the access course for midwifery, and I start uni next week.
So exciting. So we've just had a little chat, and you filled me in on your story, which I think is so inspirational and aspirational as well to anybody that's shares a journey like yours. Do you want to give us a little bit of background about how you came to choose midwifery and an access course?
Yeah. So originally I wanted to go into zoology, and then I didn't have a very good time in school. I was bullied, so like it was really hard to try and study and stuff, and keep my head down. And then I met my ex-partner, which led to a very abusive relationship. And the outcome of that was my daughter. And I dropped out of high school just before I fell pregnant. And I had a really bad pregnancy. It was high risk because of a previous miscarriage. And then when it came to me actually giving birth, the woman in assessment was she was horrendous, like would not help me very much, was telling me I didn't know my own body or anything. And then I just
nobody
kept
does when
begging
they're
for pain
17.
relief. And yeah. I kept begging for like gas and air or something, and she eventually checked me, because when I came in it was like 7:30 in the morning, and I was 2 centimeters dilated, and then an hour and a half later I was 8 centimeters. So I've been in a lot of pain for the past hour and a half.
Oh.
And it wasn't fun. And then when I went through to give birth in the labour ward, my chest actually stopped because of how much pain I was in. I completely blacked out. And then I came back to, and my daughter was born, and she came out blue and not breathing, and that made me go, oh, this doesn't seem good. But I was as high as a kite with the gas and air. But the midwives were very good with like me and my mum, like trying to calm me down and everything, and then eventually my daughter started breathing. And then the recovery in the hospital was amazing. Like they were so like, we're here if you need anything, like, you know, just buzz if you need help. And I think like my whole experience being pregnant was, it just kind of set me on the road to midwifery. And then when my daughter was 2, I applied to go back to college, and I started, it was like a preparation for employment course, just to get like the bare minimum, like, so National 4 up here is pretty like bare minimum. And then from there I went on to a health science course. And I met my best friend there, who is also wanting to go into nursing and stuff, which was quite nice. And then we finished that course together, and I met my current partner in between. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to apply for the next course, but working around like studying and being in college all day, and then trying to come home in time to get my daughter from nursery, it just wasn't working out. So I dropped out in October, and I was sitting on the phone to my granny, like scrolling through like online courses. I was like, I really want to do one, but I don't have the money. And we ended up like hanging up that night, and she phoned my mum later on. She was like, I'm going to pay for Haylie's course as long as she can stick to it, Granny, and go through everything. Yeah. And she phoned me the next day. She's like, buy the course if you want to. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it, I'll stick to it, I promise I'll complete it and everything. And I remember like scrolling through the Teams page, like, this is so overwhelming, I have no idea what I'm doing. So it was quite interesting to see everything and like getting a wee idea for it. And then one of the assessments was like, you need to apply for uni and like show us your personal statement. I was like, oh my god, I had no idea about this. So I applied in December, and I think it was February I heard back saying you want a conditional offer, you need to meet all these bits. And I was like, oh my god, I've got a chance. But
what did Granny say?
Studying it, she was so like happy for me. Like she must have been
so proud.
Stuff. Yeah. While I was studying at college, I actually found out I had a brain condition that I've had my whole life. So I had a lot of flare-ups, and I can get really bad headaches and be wiped out for like a week. So there was one point towards the end of this course that I had a really bad flare-up, and I had like 3 assessments due, and I was like, oh my god, I'm not going to reach the deadline. But it all worked out good. And then I had another condition for the uni, which was a maths course online, which I completed. But before I completed my course, I passed my driver's test and ended up in a near-death crash. So that was really difficult.
Oh my goodness!
And then
Haylie, this is an emotional roller coaster.
And I was like, oh my god, I'm probably never going to go to uni, because it was like a big step back and everything. Because I had my best friend and her partner and my daughter in the car, and we had another driver on the side of the road. So I swerved, and then we went off an embankment. But yeah, it was like very scary, and I was a bit like, everything was just looking up kind of thing. And yeah, it was a big emotional thing. And then went on to pass the maths course, and then in August I got a phone call, and it was a woman like, are you fit to do midwifery, like in condition? I was a bit like, I mean, I probably can. And then after she hung up, I was like, they wouldn't phone me unless I got the offer, so check my emails, and my offer was there. I was like, oh my god. I was so excited. Lots of tears that day.
Looking back, when you were in that awful relationship, or when you had lost your first little one, how did you feel then in comparison to how you feel now? Did you think these opportunities were available to you then, when you were kind of in the pits of challenges?
No, not one bit. I was so isolated during those times. Like, the only person I had was my mum, but even then I'd pushed her away because of how bad the relationship was. And he wouldn't allow me to have any friends, no contact with anyone unless it was people he liked. So even the thought of like having friends that were in similar situations or anything like that, looking back, I'm just a bit like, I don't know why I stayed for so long. I had no chance to get. No, and then had my daughter. Yeah. Look at
what you're showing her that she can do, though. Yeah. Like, she can look at her mama and go, I can be a boss just like my mama. It's so inspiring. And I think one of the things I said on in our call before we started recording was, when you're in a bit of a dark place, or you've got dreams but you don't know how, or it seems a bit hard, I think it's completely natural that so many of us will not make excuses but find reasons that seem to go, oh no, I can't do it because I've got no money, I can't do it because I've got a brain condition, I can't, there are so many reasons that we could go, well, I couldn't. And it's so inspiring to hear that you're like, no, I can. And it wasn't, you don't come across as somebody who's had to, I mean, I'm sure you've worked incredibly hard, but you don't seem like it was too much for you. By the sounds of your story, it seems like the course was a good fit for where you were in life and it was manageable. Is that how you feel, or no?
Yeah, it was like being able to study from home and like have my daughter just around the corner in nursery, so it wasn't even like a 5-minute walk to go and get her, and like I could study that whole day. And then when she'd like gone to bed and stuff, and I didn't have to leave my house and worry about times and everything. And it was just such like, I'd never really like believed in studying online. I was like, oh, it's just a big scam, to be honest. And then when I actually found like this course, oh my god, it's not like I can actually do it, because like I'd seen so many things before, like, oh, apply to this and like pay this much a month, and I was like, for staying at home.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was like, no, thank you. But yeah, it was such like,
or you'd get like a piece of paper, but you wouldn't necessarily get an actual offer to university. That must have been surreal when your offer came through, to be like this is real.
Yeah, it's still not fully sunk in. Like, we've had Freshers Week this week, induction. I was sitting in the university just like looking at the whole classroom. I was like, I'm actually sitting here about to start my course for the next 3 years, and like sitting there being like, I need to pinch myself because I couldn't actually believe it. And then like we had the Freshers Fair yesterday, and I was walking around with my mum like, I'm actually like going to uni. Like, these are people that I'm going to see. But yeah, it was such a weird feeling and everything. So it was nice, but at the same time very special.
Yeah, and it must be so refreshing if you've had a bad experience with school and bullying and not feeling like you connect with anyone. So being in university when, you know, there or thereabouts, you're all there for that, because of you share a passion for midwifery and caring for people and being the kind of women that you experienced when your daughter came along. You must have you connected with anybody on your course yet, or is it too early to say?
I think it's a bit early. Like, there was this one girl that I've seen the past few open days, and like we've had a conversation and everything, and we made eye contact the other day, and I was like, oh, she got in, which I was really happy for. But I've done like a lot of volunteering at the hospital, so I know most of the staff for when I do start, and I was a bit like, I'm feeling a bit more comfortable.
It's just amazing. It's just amazing that 17-year-old Haylie that wasn't given a chance to expand her world is now doing what you're doing. I'm just incredibly excited for you. Are you going to keep in touch with your Access Online tutors and update them?
Yeah, we've got a wee WhatsApp group chat just now for some of the girls that have just finished. So it's nice like keeping in contact, and I think Laura runs the group. So we're a bit like, woo.
Laura's one of my best friends in the world, because she is everyone's ultimate cheerleader. You just
she was very helpful throughout the course. Everything. Like, if I had a problem, like, Laura, I need help.
It's wonderful, isn't it? Oh, Haylie,
very much like for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love your story so much, and like I said before, your story and your journey is going to be so relatable to so many people who have either the same challenges or different challenges, but challenges nonetheless. And I think you're just a really inspiring example of how you can go, I can do this. Like, I can do this. You're just going to have the best time. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to let you go deliver some babies.
Thank you.
Thanks, Haylie.